Hello and welcome to the show. Well, listen, I'm so glad that you could join us today. We have a great show planned for you. This is all about the power of now. And this month, we are celebrating our Heart of Giving series. And so it's all about the heart and it's all about giving. This week's guest is Shanika Aiken. And I tell you what, I love my girl, Miss Shanika, and she has a lot to talk about. And so I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy because it's coming up next. We'll be right back.
The Curry Insurance Agency has served the community for over 30 years with hundreds of trained representatives to assist you in selecting health plans. Curry Insurance Agency is the largest marketing insurance group in the state of South Carolina for Medicare Advantage and represents all major health carriers. Curry's motto is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Call the Curry Agency today at 803-536-0889. The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com.
Welcome back to the show. I told you we've got a great show planned for you. Thank you again for joining us. It's always a pleasure to host everybody and to be able to talk about a lot of the things that we hear out in the street and what's happening here and what's happening there, but to meet the different people that come on the show. I tell you, I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful that folks have been put in my lives that I can share their stories and what they're all about. So I said that we have a great show planned for you. Special lady. She's a motivational speaker, a wife, nonprofit instructor. She's the youth empowerment leader. She's from Orangeburg, South Carolina. She's the founder of SAFE organization. That's capital letters. And we're going to ask her what that's all about. So without further ado, I want to tell you now, she's also my sister. She is a sister. When I say that, I mean she's a down-to-earth sister. Anytime I need prayer, anything, she's right there. So without further ado, come on out, Miss Shanika Aiken.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, beautiful. How are you?
I am well, and yourself. And first and foremost, thank you for the opportunity to be on your platform.
Oh, you are quite welcome. It is my pleasure. We've been saying this, and I said, Shanika, you got to come on the show. You got to come on the show. So finally, because you have a busy schedule, but finally I got you on the show, and I just want to thank you for all that you do. So, Shanika, as we're talking now, I always say this is a conversation.
Absolutely.
We're on the couch. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I am Shanika Aiken. I am married to the love of my life, Mr. Marion Aiken. My husband and I have several businesses. We own Love Expression yard signs, where we put out the yard signs in your yard that says happy birthday, happy anniversary. We also have a food truck called Marion Southern Food Truck, and we sell soul food on our truck. And lastly, we do mass backyard entertainment, where we put the inflatable movie screen in your backyard where you can watch a movie in the comfort of your home. So not only am I a wife and a business owner, I also have a nonprofit organization called the SAFE Organization, and we promote self-esteem, advocacy, faith, and education in the lives of today's youth. We provide mentorship and educational services to young ladies ages 11 through 17. And lastly, I teach a nonprofit class to those who want to start a nonprofit.
Wow. Didn't I tell you, folks? Busy lady wearing many, many hats. So the question becomes, how do you juggle all of that, Shanika?
My day starts off with prayer. A prayer and a calendar. Because I can't listen, I cannot, I realize within myself I cannot do anything without help. And so I need God to help me every step of the way. The scriptures tells us to trust in the Lord with all of thine heart and to lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. So I try to start my day every day with prayer, a calendar, and also people that will help me. I don't do it alone, although it seems like it's a lot. It is a lot for one person when they doing it by themselves. But I have help. Thankfully, I have a team that helps with with the nonprofit organization. We do help people that helps us on the food truck and the other businesses. So I start my day off with prayer. That helps me every time, as well as a calendar and people on our staff.
Wow, wow. When we talk about women that wear a lot of hats, because people always ask you, well, how do you do it? I say, can't do it without God.
Oh,
Everything is done with God. Nothing is impossible, for God, but you can't do it without him.
okay.
And that's why I say, when it's time to pray, all I got to do is call Shanika. I'm telling you. So let's talk about what inspired you to start SAFE.
Oh man, when I was the age of 13, 14 years old, I hated school. I did not want to go to school, hated school. And so that led me to go to DJJ for truancy. And truancy is simply you don't want to go to school. So guess what? The law would make you go to school. And so my experience at DJJ was one that I would never forget. And I didn't go one time, but I went twice. And so I didn't learn my lesson the first time. So I went the second time, and that second time really hit home for me. It was a really eye-opening moment. And there was a lot of young ladies there my age that were going through a lot of emotional trauma, physical trauma, sexual trauma. And I just remember just being there and feeling alone. Although I wasn't alone, I felt that loneliness. And I said to myself, if I ever get out of here, I want to be able to help somebody else. So it was me starting the SAFE organization was directly related to some of the things that I experienced in my teenage years. And I didn't want any other teenage girl to go through what I went through, especially experiencing DJJ when I could have been in school like everybody else.
How long did you stay at DJJ?
All right. So the first time was 30 days. That was just trial run, right? And so the second time I was supposed to be in there for 6 months, but I ended up doing a year, simply because it didn't have beds. And so, so I went from to the evaluation center to group homes, and then actually to the R&E evaluation center. So the last time was the last time.
Right.
I learned my lesson that time.
Yeah, wow. And look at you now. That's why I say everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And and this is the cliche that we say it, but it's so true. You see their glory, but you really don't know their story.
You don't know. You
Wow.
don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so having started the organization, what has been the most important message that you have imparted to the young ladies that you come in contact with?
The most important message that I have imparted to the young ladies is, one, to know that you are good enough just the way you are. You don't have to change to be anybody else. 2, you are good enough. And 3, you can do all things through Christ that strengthen you. And lastly, you don't have to settle. You don't have to settle. You can use my life as an example of a person who didn't settle, had to fight for everything that I have. And so those are my words of encouragement. Be who you are. Never give up on who you are. Don't cave in, don't quit, and know that you're good enough and you don't have to settle.
Wow. And all of that you have just said, being good enough, doing all things through Christ, that strengthens you, and not settling, not quitting. That's what SAFE is. Because the first thing you said was self-esteem, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And the second was
Advocacy.
advocacy.
Faith.
Mm-hmm.
and education.
And education. That's
Mhm.
right. So you can't do it without education. Just like
Oh,
you said, you didn't like to go to school, but you knew that now you knew that education was important.
oh yeah, education is key.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody is not meant to go to college, but you
Right.
still need some sort of education.
That's
You
right.
still need some sort of training.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
still need some kind of teaching
That's right.
um, in today's society. Um, and we'll go back to the acronym SAVE, self-esteem. We promote positive self-esteem. We want you to know that you're capable, you're good enough, and you can do this. Advocacy. We advocate for things that are pertinent to teenagers, whether it's teen pregnancy and prevention, whether it's sexual abuse, teen dating violence, anything pertinent to teens, we advocate for them. Faith. It is important to have faith in God and also in yourself. And lastly, education.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs a quality
Education.
education.
That's right. That's right. In order to run a business,
Absolutely.
you got to know how to count.
Yeah.
People always say, well, I don't like math. I said, but if you don't like math, then at least know how to do one times one plus one,
Yeah.
1,000 plus 1,000. At least
Absolutely.
at least know the basics,
Hmm.
because that's what's going to help you
Right.
carry you to the next level. Um, and so, Shanika, when we talk about safe, each year, and I'm gonna kind of switch, because each year, and I've had the experience to see it, Girls Empowerment
Yeah.
Day. Tell us about Girls Empowerment Day.
Oh, Girl Empowerment Day is my heart. It is a day catered to young ladies to boost their self confidence, to boost their self esteem, to bring in speakers to talk on topics that are related to them. For example, this year of Girl Empowerment Day, our topics was entrepreneurship. If you wanted to start a business, if you want to get information about a business, we had female entrepreneurs in the building that you could talk about how to start your own business. And then we also touched on the topic of mental health. How do you know how I mean, mental health is a key nowadays. When COVID hit, nobody was really talking about mental health. And as soon as COVID hit, people were dealing eternally with things. And how do you know our children were dealing with things eternally as well? They were not in school, they were not with their peers, and so there was separation anxiety, that they had to deal with too. So this year, this year for Girl Empowerment Day, we tackled the topics of mental health awareness as well as entrepreneurship, and we also did fun stuff. We allowed them to play games and meet friends and be in an environment with other young ladies, and they shared conversations and just opportunity to build up one another and just having all around good time to let them know that we, the Safe Organization, is here to support them and we love them.
That's right. And we've got some pictures that we want to show. So let's show those pictures, Willie and Tiana. So here, and tell us what's happening here.
All right, so I believe this picture is from our first Girl
Mm-hmm.
Empowerment Day, which was in Branchville, South Carolina, at the uh, Branchville High School
Mm-hmm.
cafeteria. We have a lady standing there doing a painting class with them. So they're actually in the painting session of this particular activity. And so we had girls, and not just African American girls. Girl Empowerment Day is for all girls. It doesn't matter
Diverse.
what color, what race you are, what creed you are welcome to Girl Empowerment Day. So yeah, so this particular picture, the young ladies are in the painting session.
Mm-hmm. And then this is the group picture.
This is the group picture,
Wow.
absolutely.
Look
This is
at
the group
that.
picture, and
Look
it
at
gets
that.
larger and larger every year.
Yeah, yeah, because this year,
Uh huh.
in June, when
Yeah.
you came to the conference center,
Yeah.
you had over 150 girls. I mean, I thought maybe 200 girls, but it was a lot of young ladies and their parents that brought
Absolutely.
them,
Yeah.
and dropped them off and came back and got them, and they had a good time. They didn't even want to leave.
Right. You're absolutely right. And so that's the environment that we want to create. A memorable, lasting experience that they can go and tell their friends about coming to Girl Empowerment the next year or any activities that we have.
Yeah, wow. Well, Shanika, hold on because we're going to come back. We're going to take a commercial break and then we're going to be right back, folks.
The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com. The Curry Insurance Agency has served the community for over 30 years with hundreds of trained representatives to assist you in selecting health plans. Curry Insurance Agency is the largest marketing insurance group in the state of South Carolina for Medicare Advantage and represents all major health carriers. Curry's motto is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Call the Curry Agency today at 803-536-0889.
Welcome back to the show. I'm telling you, if you missed the first half, I've been talking with Miss Shanika Aiken, Executive Director of SAFE and Girls Empowerment. And not only is she is a fabulous, phenomenal woman, she's a nonprofit instructor and youth empowerment leader, and we've just been having the conversation about her life and her story and how she is helping young people in the community, not only in Orangeburg, but in other parts of the areas of Orangeburg, Calhoun, Bamberg County, and all. And Shanika, thank you again for being on the show. You know, it's always great to talk with you. And so I want to ask you a question. When I say a nonprofit instructor, tell us what a nonprofit instructor does and how you can help people.
Absolutely. So for those of you that would like to start your own nonprofit organization, what I do is I go in and give you the groundwork, the paperwork, the fundamentals to actually starting. So when you get finished with my class, you can go ahead and start. So what I do, we talk about the state filing that you have to file with the state of South Carolina. We also talk about your IRS filing. A lot of people, they're nonprofit organizations. However, some forget to file their taxes every year, and that's important, and they didn't know that. And so I remind them about paying your taxes every year. I also tell them how to get their 501c3 status and how to keep your status, because a lot of people, they get the status, they forget to file, and they lose their status. Mm-hmm. And so I try to do my best to give them the meat and the potatoes of starting a nonprofit. And so when they're finished with my class, they can go ahead and file with the state of South Carolina as well as the IRS. And with the state of South Carolina, of course, we talk about the articles of incorporation, your registration statement of exemption, those sort of things, so that when you do file, and then not only that, let me add, they also get a binder with the course curriculum, and they also get the actual applications. Now, all of the applications that are inside of the binder, they can be found online, but we use the paper inside of the binder for practice work. So you can write on it. And so you can transfer that information from what you wrote onto your filing online.
Wow. And why did you get involved in becoming a nonprofit instructor?
Listen, I wasn't thinking about it, but a lot of people, like when I started my nonprofit organization 8 years ago, I had people to ask me, well, how did you start your organization? And there were some things that I learned in those 8 years. I said, you know what, let me help these folks out that want to start their own nonprofit. And so whether it was a nonprofit for youth or whatever the nonprofit they wanted to start, I just utilize my experience, the things that I learned, to help them. So, but what started, but people just started asking me, how did I do it? And I just shared what I knew, and I was not afraid to share.
Exactly.
Because everybody needs somebody in their life that can help them along the way. So
that's the truth. Now, that is the truth. And it's all about helping each other.
Yeah.
You know, when you became a mentor, or let me back up. I'm going to ask this question differently. When did you know that you wanted to be a mentor or an empowerment coach? And when did you know that that was your calling?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you, T.
That's a good question. I feel I can't put a date as to when, but I knew within my heart that I wanted to encourage other people to live out their dreams. My tagline for Shanika Aiken Empowerment Coach is jump starting your dreams into reality.
Mm,
And I wanted to be able to be that jumper cable, that
mhm,
push start button to your dreams, because a lot of people are sitting down on their dreams. God placed them in our hearts. We have you have a lot of people say, I want to do this, I want to go back to school, I want to sing, I want to dance, whatever, and they're just sitting on it. So I want to come to you and put what I have in me, what God placed inside of me. I want to connect them to yours and to your faith so that you can get going. So
mm,
again, my tagline is for Shanika an Empowerment Coach is jumpstarting your dreams into reality.
mm,
But it was something that God placed on the inside of me. I didn't, if you would have asked me this 20 years ago, I couldn't answer that because
mm,
I didn't know it until I got into it. And
mm.
God just laid it on my heart. It was nothing that I thought of, nothing that I wanted to do. It was something that He placed on me to do. And so I feel obligated that this is my reasonable service unto God.
Mm. Wow, wow. And a lot of times though, when we have that calling from God, it's just natural. It's natural. It happens naturally. It's not as I tell people when they ask about certain things that I do or that I hear talk with other people, it's a natural feeling.
Absolutely.
And it just comes so easy,
Mm-hmm.
and then it becomes that passion that you have for life, to help other people. And so I thank you for that. I really do.
Absolutely.
Because some people can't explain that calling, but you were able to do that. And like you said, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to. Same thing here. 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you, the same thing. So
Right.
when parents now that may be looking
Mhm.
want to know how can they sign their child up for SAFE, what do they need to do to be a part of SAFE / the Girls Empowerment Day?
Wonderful. Well, we do have a website. It's www.thesafeorg.info. Yes, your team is on it.
Thank you.
So
Thank
we do have a
you.
website where parents can go on and register their children. We also have our Facebook page, which is the Safe Organization. They can reach out to us via Facebook or Instagram, either or they can give us a call at 803 308 0069. Again, that number is 803 308 0069. And they can give us a call, and I can send them, one of the team members can send them the registration link to volunteer with us, whether it's for the adult or for the child. We do have a registration link that we can send them. And yeah, your team is on it. Yes, we have a registration link that we can send the parents, and then we'll have like an initial meeting, just a brief overview of the organization so that they can get familiar with who we are and what we do. Yes, so all they have to do is either they can hit us up on our Facebook and Instagram page. Our They can call us at 803-308-0069, and we'll send them the registration link.
Mhm.
uh and that's basically it. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, Shanika, I tell you, you have helped so many young ladies, and you've helped a lot of women. And I know this because just being in Orangeburg, when I say Shanika Aiken, everybody knows Shanika Aiken.
Oh,
I mean, you're celebrity. You are
I don't know about
celebrity here in Orangeburg, but not so much, being a celebrity, but it's just being the person that you are. I told you this series is about a heart of giving. And when I think about as I'm listening to you, and from what I have known about you since we have connected, is you have that heart of giving. Where did that come from?
Huh. It came from me not having. And I made a promise to God that if He would ever give me the opportunity to give and to be a blessing to others, and I'm about to cry telling you this,
Mm.
but I remember there were times in my life when I did not have it, where I was borrowing, robbing Peter to pay Paul, didn't know how I was going to make ends meet, didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. And I made a promise to myself, one, to get out of debt and to stay out of debt. And I also made a promise to God that if He would ever get me out of the situation, that I would deliberately and intentionally be a blessing to others in any way that I can, because I'm just His hands and feet. That's it. I'm just a conduit. That's it. If He can get it to me, if He can get it to me, if He can give me the resources, listen, I'm just a distribution center, as my pastor would say. The money comes in and it goes out. It's a revolving door.
Come
It
on.
comes to me and it goes out. It comes to me and it goes out. So I'm just a conduit for God. That's it.
Mm.
That's it. But I remember when I did not have, and
Yeah.
that's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
That's not a good feeling not to have, and you can't. You want to do. You
Mhm.
want to be a blessing. You can't. And I promised God if He would get me out, that I would be a blessing. And I'm holding true to what I said.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are. And we want to thank you for your support and Marion, because all that you do in the community and how you have just been such a dear friend to me. And folks, I mean, Shanika and I, when we met, it was like we knew each other when we were talking on the phone. It was like, I know you. I said, you don't meet a stranger. And so I want to thank you for all that you do in the community. I want to thank you for being a friend to me, and to my organization as well. I want to ask you, what's next, Shanika?
What is next?
For you, what's next for Shanika?
What's next for Shanika? Oh my goodness. Where do I start? It's like where do I start? But no, what is next for me? That's a loaded question, because I got so many thoughts in my mind. But I'll say this: the Safe Organization has just implemented our youth advisory board. So we have a
Mm.
youth advisory team now that advises us on activities and events that they would like to do. Because being an older generation, or should say not older, but
The
being a
more mature. Yes,
mature
season.
generation,
Yes, yes.
we sometimes don't get what the kids are saying and doing. So now we have a team of young girls called our Youth Advisory Council Leadership Team, that now we meet on a daily, or not a daily, but on a weekly basis, or every other weekly basis, and we talk about things that are relevant to them. And so now we have a bigger scope on how to serve our young girls. So that's one thing. As far as the businesses is concerned, we're always looking for new and fun ways to take our business to the next level. My husband and I, we are praying and believing God for a child, so we're working on baby number one. So yeah, so
Oh,
we're excited in these parts over here.
oh, how nice. Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
that's what we're working on
Congratulations. Congratulations.
in advance,
Wow.
right?
In advance. Come
Yeah,
on. Come on. So, before we go, Shanika, first of all, like I said, I want to thank you.
yeah,
Again, congratulations to you and Marion and all that you all are doing. You got mommy right here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of god mommies. But I want to ask you, the last thing I always do is I ask my guests to give me 3 words that describe them.
That describes what?
The 3 words that describe you.
Oh, okay. One would be considerate. I am very considerate of other people's feelings, so I try not to do anything that would discourage anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, I would say that I am caring. I do have a caring heart for people, and I think caring and considerate goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, that's a good one. Loving. I love people. I
Wow.
love
Wow.
helping people. Yeah.
Wow. Why was that on my mind? I was getting ready to write loving. I was getting ready to write it
We in the
down.
spirit.
Hello, come on, come on. Shanika, it has been a pleasure talking with you tonight. And thank you for being so transparent and really opening up and talking so that people understand where that heart, your heart of giving comes from and how you're helping people in the community. Again, I want to show your telephone number and we want to show your handles before we go off the air. We want to make sure that people can call 803-308-0069. You can go to the website, Facebook, which is the Safe Organization, capital SAFE. You can also go to the website, www.thesafeorg.info. Shanika, thank you, thank you, thank you. And her handles as well, all the handles that she has. We want to thank you for that. And there was a comment. Oh, Angel Howell. Thank you, Angel. Yeah, thank you for watching the show. Listen, Shanika, it has been a pleasure talking with you, and may God continue to bless you, my darling. You know, I love you, and I thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you as well. And I love you. And may God continue to bless all that you are doing, and everything that your hands touch is blessed.
Thank you, God. Thank you. You have a happy holiday. You and Mr. Marion, we're going to talk about that food truck for January now.
That's right.
For Food Truck Friday, okay?
There you go.
That's right. That's right. Listen, you be blessed and have a happy holiday. And congratulations again.
Same to you and your family. Happy holidays.
Love you, my darling.
Love you too, dear.
Okay. All right. Listen, folks, you heard it right here. That's Shanika Aiken, Executive Director of SAFE and Girls Empowerment Day. And I tell you what, just a powerful woman of God and just so thankful that she was able to be on this show today. Angel, thank you for chiming in and watching as well. And all of the other viewers, we see you out there. We don't know who you are, but we see you watching the show. And so I want to thank you for being on the show. As always, listen, join the show next week as we're going to be talking with other guests about a Heart for Giving series. It's about this right here, this heart, okay, and how you are giving. I want to thank the producers, Alicia, assistant producers, Tiana, Willie, and Felicia. I tell you what, congratulations, Felicia. Felicia is graduating from Claflin University tomorrow. And so we want to say congratulations to her. Remember, I can't do this like Willie can, but please subscribe to the Tammy TV Show on the YouTube channel. Remember, hit that subscribe button because it's going to notify you of when the show is coming on Facebook and on YouTube. So remember, hit that subscribe button. We want to hear from you. And if you have any information that you'd like us to share on the show, please do so because we would love to hear from you. I tell you what, thank you, thank you, thank you again. Remember, let's be a blessing to somebody today and every day. I can't say that enough. Today and every day. Until the next time, have a safe and wonderful week. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.